Good evening. It is 5:40. I would like to call the meeting of the Parks, Recreation, and Arts Commission to order. City Clerk, would you please conduct roll call?
Yes. Commissioner Barraza?
Yes, present.
Commissioner Collier is absent. Commissioner Dolan is absent. Commissioner Duran?
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Kucharski is absent. Commissioner Miller?
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Trio?
Present.
Thank you. Vice Chair Ward?
Present.
Thank you. And Chair McCoy?
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. We do have some commissioners that are out. Is there a motion to excuse the absence of Commissioner Dolan?
So move.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Barraza. Thank you, Commissioner Miller. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Absent is excused. Is there a motion to excuse the absence of Commissioner Collier? Thank you, Commissioner Miller. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Commissioner. I want to call you by your first name all the time. Commissioner Duran. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Absent is approved. Lastly, Commissioner Kucharski is out. Is there a motion to excuse her absence?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Trillo. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Miller. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Absent is excused. Please, we will now begin the Pledge of Allegiance. Will everyone please stand? Ready, salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Thank you. We will start with the approval of the agenda. City Clerk, are there any changes or proposed changes to the agenda tonight?
There are no changes.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Thank you, Commissioner Miller. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Vice Chair Ward. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. This item is approved. We will now move on to approval of minutes. Do you need me to slow down? Okay. Are there any changes to the minutes from December 15th, 2025, City Clerk?
There are no changes.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Trillo. Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Miller. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. This item is approved. We will now move on to member reports and comments. As a reminder, this is a time for commission members to report anything they feel important for the public or commission to know, but it is not a time for discussion. Commissioner Barraza.
Madam Chair, I wanted to thank Mayor Jerry Dyer and Councilmember Maxwell for setting up a mechanism to give money to soccer clubs, low-income communities, to pay the fees that are required to participate in soccer leagues. I thought that was a very nice effort, and I'm assuming that that may be in addition to the $150,000 that this commission recommended annually for low-income communities for all the areas and in the parks in our city. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Duran.
No other comments for me other than happy to be here for our first January meeting of 2026. Good to see everyone.
Good to see you as well. Commissioner Miller.
Nothing for me at this point.
Thank you. Vice Chair Ward.
Yes, thank you, Chair McCoy. I wanted to use my member report to provide the public with some information about the EAC grant program. So approximately 131 of the Year 2 EAAC grantees have accepted their award contracts, and funding's gone out to 92 of them, directly or to their fiscal sponsors. For the 39 that were not yet funded, many are working through insurance or city right-of-way issues. But if there's any awardees who have resolved all those issues but not yet received their funding, please let the Arts Council or members of this commission know so we can help you follow up on its status. We all want that money to get out into the community and into the hands of those who are awarded grants. The next item, I'm hopeful the City of Fresno and the Arts Council can communicate about whatever remaining reporting items are open so they can release the funding for the Year 3 EAAC grants. And this commission will hopefully have on its agenda at the next meeting a hearing to appoint the Cultural Arts Subcommittee. Both of these things need to happen soon, so there's mechanisms to share all the community feedback that was gathered about the grant process in the past year, and so that we have tools to distribute that information with the public and start to make those changes. And I remain hopeful that we can separate out the operational grants and get an RFP in place for those grants more quickly so they're aligned with the organizational fiscal years that begin on July 1st. And the project grant program needs a more time-intensive, community-informed revision, and those grants can be funded hopefully on a 12-month cycle from the date of award, not aligned with the city's fiscal year. Right now, the project grant recipients are in a frustrating position of getting funded halfway through the award cycle, submitting reports on 2 quarters of unfunded activity, and then rushing to complete their projects. This can be avoided in Year 3 and future years if we uncouple those 2 grant types. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Trillo?
Nothing to add. It's just good to see everybody, and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Yes, our first meeting of the year, so it's good to see everyone, and we have a packed house tonight, so it's good to see everyone, and let's get it moving and get it started. We will now move on to city administration and park staff reports and comments. Does anyone from the administration have any reports or comments for the commission?
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Does anyone from the park staff have any reports or comments for the commission?
Thank you, Chair. Good evening. As you all have mentioned, Happy New Year. Excited for the year ahead of us and, all of our goals and working with you all to continue enhancing our parks, expanding programs, and building the stronger partnerships. As mentioned earlier, last week we held a press conference at Fort Miller Middle School to announce the Youth Scholarship Program. This is in addition to the youth fee waiver that I believe you all are familiar with. This is $50,000 of Measure P funding to implement a competitive grant program for nonprofits to manage the youth scholarship program. The goal of this youth scholarship is to reduce financial barriers for Fresno's youth to participate in recreational programs who serve youths ages 3 to 17. Funds may be used for registration fees of these various leagues and or necessary equipment up to $300 per eligible youth per year. Of that money, a minimum of 50% of the scholarship awarded to eligible youth must be used for sports or recreation activities not currently offered by the Parks Department. So, we offer a number of youth activities. So really what this is hoping to do is to get kids who might not be served by our programs, ages 12 to 15, 16, 17, into leagues that they can continue advancing their skills and playing those sports. Just the timeline and key milestones of this program here. As I mentioned last week, January 21st, the grant solicitation was released. February 11th, applications from the nonprofits are due by 3 p.m. Shortly after, its selection committee will begin, and our plan is by mid to late February have those recommendation of those nonprofits for award. Soon after that, we will then start working with the nonprofits to grant the agreement process for the awarded applicants. And then March of 2026, so just about 2 months from now, issue the notice to proceed so that money can start getting granted out to our youth. So for information, you can come to the City of Fresno's website, which is fresno.gov /parks, and in there you'll see a banner that says a youth scholarship program. That will have all the information for the applicants, for the families, or anyone interested in that. That concludes my comments. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. We will now move on to unscheduled communication. Would any other member of the public like to speak on any issue within the jurisdiction of this commission? You will have up to 3 minutes. As a reminder, if you would like to comment on a scheduled workshop and discussion items, now is the time to make those comments. If you would like to make a comment regarding any of the scheduled hearings, comments will be taken when each item is called. And the first card I have is Melissa Padilla.
Good evening, Chair and members of the Commission. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I want to sincerely thank you for opening your youth grant program, for taking the time to hear me the last time I stood before this committee. The access matters, and it speaks volume to your willingness to listen and invest in our youth recreation. It directly reflects the mission: expanding access, strengthening community engagement, and using sports as a tool for positive development. It tells our families, coaches, and young athletes that our city values youth sports and community-driven programs. I'd like to extend an invitation to each of you to attend our upcoming California U.S. State Wrestling season events that kick off at the Selland Arena. These competitions bring together athletes and families from across the state, and they showcase wrestling not just as a sport, but as a vehicle for discipline, academic focus, and long-term youth development, creating a pathway to success that is sparked here in our great city. And I hope Parks will come and witness these amazing milestones and choose to be represented in the sport of wrestling. I also would like to propose your support for an upcoming National Wrestling Training Consortium is who we represent, and we're in collaboration with other local wrestling nonprofits, and we'll be hosting national wrestling training at the Justin Garza High School. Through this Olympic-style wrestling, we serve youth and families who often lack access to structured recreation, mentorship, and high-quality coaching. Wrestling is one of the most affordable sports, but access to training, safe facilities, and educated coaches is where the real gap exists. With this community event, it is just the beginning of our work to close this gap, as our goal is to make this a free community event open to all wrestlers, coaches, educators, and young adult wrestlers. This training, thank you. I have 1 minute? Okay. This training directly improves athlete safety, coaching standards, and access to high-quality instruction pillared here in our city. With Parks support, local businesses and nonprofits, and hopefully Councilmember Perea in District 1, we can remove cost barriers, elevate coaching education, and reinvest knowledge through sportsmanship back into Fresno's youth. Thank you again for your time, your leadership, and your continued commitment to community sports. I look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
And here's our USA Wrestling schedule that it kicks off March 7th. And then, of course, we have our CIF Masters in mid-February here at the Selland Arena, and then our state tournament is in Bakersfield. Thank you.
Next speaker, Will Edwards.
Ready? Yeah. Hi, my name is William Edwards. I was here about a year ago. It was over Melody Park. You guys had actually linked me with someone named Ozzy to help me revamp the park in some way, and unfortunately that never came to fruition. He did try to work with me at a certain point, and we talked about a lot of things, but unfortunately they just never came true. We wanted to get a new rail in the park, was basically the bare minimum that we were hoping for, and it ended up just never happening. They did put in rails. They were unfortunately cheap. They broke, and then we talked to them again, being like, can we get something better in there? And it just, I never heard anything back. It just stopped. So basically what happened was we got a rail removed from the skate park instead of getting more obstacles in the park. So I don't know if there's anyone I can talk to. Hopefully someone can reach out to me at this point. Maybe someone else that can help me with it. But at this point, I just feel very like done over almost. And I'm just hoping we can do something about it. There's a lot of people that go to that park, and I'm hoping that we can like get something there because there's a lot of people that are upset about it. And that's pretty much all I got on that one. But thank you guys. Please reach out. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Devin.
Hey, how's it going? My name's Devin Mullins. I'm here in the same favor as Will Edwards there. I think we've kind of forgotten that skate parks are also part of the parks in itself, and skateboarding is a nationally recognized form of sport. It's in the Olympics now and everything. Plenty of kids that do it. Granted, sure, it is a third-party sport. It's not, any of the natural, football, soccer, anything like that, but we do have our own sport. Plenty of kids go to these parks and everything. A lot of them have fallen in disrepair. Melody Park, Kaiser Park, Cary Park, all those, they're modular skate parks. A lot of them are like black plastic ramps and everything. Melody Park had just got redone. Will Edwards, he put in a lot of effort with that guy Ozzy, but unfortunately they've already fallen in disrepair and everything as well. So, I mean, we're suffering as well. We do have, I work 10, 12 hours a day. I still want to go, do my sport, decompress, my exercise. There's plenty of kids that go there. We brought plenty of kids with us, too, that are locals of these parks as well. And I'm hoping that we could definitely get something done about it. If anybody could reach out to us, that would be awesome. We just want to, we don't want to be forgotten as well. We don't want to get the crumbs left over, Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Roberto Torres.
Muy buenas tardes a todos los presentes.
Good afternoon to all the present
están aquí.
and all of my
Mi nombre es
companions that are
Roberto
here.
Torres.
My name is Robert Torres.
Soy un árbitro
I am a
que viene simplemente a
I
saber
am a
por qué
coach
los
here.
parques nos están quitándolos, las
I
escuelas.
want to know why they're taking our parks away.
Nosotros los árbitros a hoy estamos
The
estamos
coaches today
preparándonos
are
para
preparing
brindar un mejor trabajo
to bring better
y
work
evitar problemas
and
en las
avoid
canchas,
problems at
evitar
the
problemas
courts
con los familiares,
with the family members,
tratar a los niños, porque hay
to
liga de
treat the
niños,
children
de mujeres y de
and women
adultos,
and
y
adults
tratamos de estar superándonos como árbitros
to become better
para
as
poder
coaches,
evitar los
to avoid
problemas en los campos y
all
en
of
las
the
canchas.
problems in the courts and in the fields.
Eso es todo. Gracias.
That is all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, could I clarify something, please?
Yes,
Quisiera informarles que
Sarah. Sorry, can you translate what Commissioner Barraza is saying for the public, please?
el día de hoy, primero, muchas gracias a
I would
todos.
like to inform you of
Primero, muchas gracias por asistir el día de hoy a esta junta importante.
I would like to thank you for coming to this very important meeting.
El asunto de la renta y el uso de parques, canchas de la ciudad de Fresno y también un asunto muy importante relacionado con la pérdida del uso de parques a la Liga Hispana de...
I'm not a professional. I just wanted to bring up the issue of the use of the courts. Sorry,
Yeah,
Commissioner. I'm just gonna.
El uso de canchas
use
de
of the
fútbol, soccer,
facilities.
que está programado como el siguiente asunto, nada más que desafortunadamente, schedule is the next item, but unfortunately, the item was listed as a workshop. El asunto fue, ¿cómo se diría? Fue programado como una, no sé cómo se dice, workshop, un taller.
Yeah.
Entonces, los requisitos dicen
The requisites say
que no puede haber presentaciones de la comunidad.
that there can't be presentations of the community during a workshop.
Entonces, la presidenta me dijo
The chair has told me
que era posible que ustedes hicieran su presentación antes o después de ese asunto. Ahorita está.
that it is possible for you to bring your concerns before the workshop or after.
Así que si desean comentar sobre el asunto de las canchas,
So if you decide to comment on the topic of the courts,
puede llenar una forma que diga la información de usted
you can
en
fill
la
out a form
tarjetita
with your
amarilla.
information.
Y así de esa manera pueden hacer la presentación en este segmento de la Junta.
And that way you can make your comments during the segment.
Así que les agradecemos mucho y agradezco a la señora presidenta McCoy
So thank
por
you, Chair.
permitirnos arreglar esto de esta manera.
For letting us fix this in this manner.
Muy bien. Thank you.
Thank you. Might as well stay right there. Next speaker is Erica, is it Torretino?
Hello, good evening, everybody, and I'm introduce myself. My name is Erica Tolentino, and I'm here on behalf of the whole community here regarding to the subject about the soccer fields and the parks being taken away from them. So I'm here in presentation just because I'm one of the coaches. Me and my husband, we have our team in there, Poblanos. So this has really had a great impact on taking away the parks, as many families, it's not only the kids, but it's the whole families who come and enjoy Sundays. So being the parks taken away has created so much a great impact, also for the players, also for the families, and also, as you can see, for the refs. So I would like to see if there's anything that on your part you guys can discuss this matter and giving, again, the parks for us, which that would be great. And we appreciate also if you guys do take a little bit of your time to go ahead and focus on also, like I said, it's a sport and it's been such for the longest time and not taken away. It's created so many issues with us. But if there's anything that also as community that we can do to make this possible, we will greatly do our part to have them back again. And that's all I'm here for, to go ahead and speak for the community, for the players, for the youngsters, for all our kids who also practice this sport. So I will really appreciate, like I said, if you guys do take a time to go ahead and discuss the matter and taking the parks away from us and bringing it back to us. If there's anything in our part, we will greatly do our part to go ahead and make this possible. Thank you for your time.
Question for you before
Yes.
you sit down. Are you able to still use the fields, or you're not able to use them anymore?
We are not able to use any of the parks. We are using schools, which we do appreciate it. But as you can see, if we get the parks back, that would be so much better, because there are so many teams, and there are so many families that have use for them. And like I said, it's not only the families, but it's also the kids who have been affected because it's soccer. Like my son, he's only 10, and like he can't play anymore because of because of this impact. His coach decided just to go ahead and get out of the league and look into maybe into another. But if we get the parks, that'll be a lot greater for us. Because like I said, I feel like soccer shouldn't be banned from anywhere. But if there was a reason as for us to be banned from the parks, then I believe so. If there's something that we can do to make possible us to get them back, of course, if we are here because we want them back, for sure, I know that if you guys speak up as to, hey, we got rules and I need you guys to follow up and do what you guys need to do as a community, as to have them back, of course, everybody who's here will support us to take care of them and do our part to have them back.
When's the last time that your soccer league has used the park?
When was the last time that we used them? I'm not so sure when was the last time, when it was taken away from us. I do have the owner of the league. He has more information about it.
I could get that information. I was just
Yeah.
wondering if you knew it off the top of your head. I could get it from one of the other speakers.
About 8 months ago, they were
8
taken away
months?
from us, yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Erica.
Yep, thank you so much for listening to me, and hopefully you guys can go ahead and talk it off, and we can have something going back to us. Thank you.
Next speaker is John Leo.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and fellow commissioners. As a former community college trustee for 8 years, I will tell you how proud I am of your service and my connection with my Southeast Fresno community, where I was raised since the age of 4. I am here to speak on behalf of football, soccer, as you know, the most popular sport in the world, and I care about my local community. Thanks to Mr. Humberto Campos, who developed the Hispanic Soccer League, they have about 129 teams, 15 to 20 members per team, plus children, family members, and people like me who are retired that go to the parks to enjoy a friendly match. As a referee, I am a State 1 United States Soccer Federation referee emeritus. I've refereed Fresno State, Fresno Pacific, Fresno City College, etc. And I can tell you I have a distinctively different attitude about the safety of these games, how important they are for the community, and that safety has to be number one. So I understand your concerns. I would be honored to be on a committee to offer a viewpoint about maybe finding a way to resolve any issues that you may have concerning some of the things that may have occurred. I can tell you with the San Joaquin Valley Soccer League, where I refereed for 30 plus years, I have been to every single park in this city. I have refereed on all these different levels, and we have not had major problems, and I expect that we won't in the future, because you have a community that cares about the safety and well-being of everyone that comes and participates. Thank you for your time and your attention to this very important matter.
Thank you. Next speaker will be Jose Pacheco.
Buenas tardes a todos.
Good afternoon to all.
Mi nombre es José Pacheco.
My name is Jose
Soy
Pacheco.
coach de la Hispanic League.
I am a coach.
Mi equipo se llama Los Plebes FC.
My team's name is Plebes FCE.
Ya, fue fundado en el 2023.
It was funded in 2023.
Yo vivía en Mendota
I lived in Mendota,
y jugaba en la liga allá.
and
Pero
I played in the league there.
me moví a Fresno y desde que conocí la liga Hispanic League, me enamoré de la
I moved
liga.
to Fresno, and I met the Hispanic League, and I fell in love with it.
Es una gran liga, por eso estamos aquí nosotros. Y preguntándonos por qué no podemos jugar en los parques, perdón.
We are wondering why we can't play in the parks.
Estaba platicando con mi niño, le digo, voy a ir a una reunión en el City.
I was talking to my son and letting him know that I was coming to City Hall.
Y me dice mi niño, ve, por favor, ve, porque nosotros queremos los parques, porque cuando ustedes tienen partido de fútbol, nosotros podemos jugar en los playgrounds.
And my son was encouraging me to come because he was wanting to go to the parks because they like to play in the playgrounds.
Y también jugar soccer. Él también juega en un equipo que se llama
To
La
also
Máquina,
play soccer. He plays in a team called La Máquina,
en la misma liga de Hispanic League de niños.
in the same league, Hispanic League.
Y nos preguntamos por qué paramos tanto tiempo sin jugar en los parques, y los parques son para nosotros, para divertirnos.
And we were wondering why we stopped playing for so long if the parks are supposed to be for us.
Y también los niños se preguntan eso, ¿por qué? ¿Por qué ya no podemos jugar?
And the
¿Por qué no
children
está la
are
liga?
asking the same thing, why is the league not there?
Y por eso estamos aquí nosotros ahora para pedirles a ustedes y si nos pueden abrir los parques para los niños, para nosotros, porque los plebes FC, mi equipo,
And
se
that is
hizo,
why we are here. We are wondering when the kids will get to use the parks again.
porque mi equipo, los plebes FC, se hizo pensando en eso, en las familias, lo hicimos
Because
entre
our
tres.
team was formed
Mr.
to help with all of that, with the families, with the kids.
Mr. Sushi, que es una persona que tiene restaurante aquí en Fresno, es parte de mi equipo. Hicimos
Mr.
este equipo
Sushi, who has restaurants here in Fresno, is part of the team,
pensando en nuestra familia, en nuestros niños, en nuestros hijos,
thinking of our kids
para
and our
que se
families
divirtieran.
so that they can have fun.
Para que sepan que hay algo más donde divertirse, que no sea en televisión, en teléfono, en tablet, en
So that they know that they can have
videojuegos.
fun and other things outside of the home, outside of the tablet, TVs, video games.
Y gracias por escucharme.
And thank you for listening.
Thank you. Next speaker, Oscar Campos.
That's good, thank you. Good evening. Just to shed a little light on a lot of the people that just came up here. Maybe you guys are, missing a little bit of context. But, well, first of all, I want to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak today. My name is Oscar Campos, and I'm here representing our amateur adult and youth soccer organization, Fresno Hispanic Soccer, or Hispanic League, that has served the Central Valley community for over 17 years. Before I continue, I do want to acknowledge the fact that the city has recently taken positive and meaningful steps in supporting the soccer community. We've seen the addition of futsal courts, improvements and renovations to existing city parks, and increased investment in facilities that benefit youth, adults, and families across Fresno. It's also encouraging to hear that we're in interest in bringing a USL professional soccer franchise back to Fresno. That momentum shows that soccer is moving forward in the city. It's in that context that I'm here today, not to point fingers or to place blame, but to speak not only for our organization, but for soccer organizations citywide, so that we can all benefit from clearer policies, better facilities, and a stronger partnership moving forward. Just to shed some light, in March of last year, an incident occurred at JSK Park that resulted in our organization being suspended, thus what these people here are speaking about. The city provided us with the suspension letter citing specific municipal codes and penal code violations, and we took this seriously, reviewed the codes, and made internal changes to address the raised concerns. In September, a separate incident occurred, unfortunately, involving different circumstances, which ultimately led to our indefinite suspension from all city parks. I'm not here to deny any of these incidents occurred. I'm here to ask for fairness, consistency, and a clear path forward. Over the past several months, I have documented multiple instances of other organizations violating the same rules and penal codes cited in our suspension. In those cases, I have not seen comparable enforcement or consequences, while our organization remains sidelined despite our efforts to comply and cooperate. Soccer is a sport with no age limits. It brings together youth, adults, and entire families. Our organization provides structured, insured, and organized recreational opportunities for people of all ages. When an organization like ours is indefinitely suspended without a defined corrective process, it doesn't just affect us, it affects the broader community that the city is actively investing in. With Fresno moving forward, improving parks, expanding futsal, and potentially welcoming professional soccer again, I believe it is important that all levels of the soccer community are supported, including grassroots and amateur organizations. So today I'm respectfully asking for a defined set of expectations, a corrective plan, and a fair opportunity for my organization to be reinstated so that we can once again operate responsibly within city parks and continue serving our community. We want to work with the city, we want to be part of Fresno's growth, and we want the opportunity to move forward together. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Next speaker, Leo Valdivia.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Leo Valdivia.
Good afternoon. My name is Leo Valdivia.
Yo soy coach en la Liga Hispanic Soccer League.
I am a coach for the Hispanic League, Soccer League.
Y yo sí tenía una pregunta, ¿verdad?, sobre por qué no nos dejan jugar en los parques de la ciudad.
I do have a question as to why we're not being let play in the city parks.
Porque yo pienso que todos tenemos derecho de jugar en los parques. Y como yo tengo mi equipo son puros muchachos como de 21 a 22 años.
I think we all have a right to play in the parks. All the kids on my league are
My team.
on my team are
20 to 22.
20 to 22 years old.
Y todos me preguntan que por qué hay otras ligas jugando en los parques y nosotros no, ¿verdad?
And they always ask me why are other leagues playing and we're not.
Y yo pienso que todos tenemos una oportunidad de jugar en los parques.
We should all have the opportunity to play in the parks.
No, y todo el tiempo, como decía mi compañero, ¿verdad? Porque yo también tengo mi familia, tengo mis nietos, que también los llevo al parque.
I have my family and grandchildren whom I'm also taking to the park.
Y lo que les gusta a ellos ir al playground, ¿verdad? Y como de hecho ahorita estamos jugando en las escuelas, ahí no nos dejan usar los playgrounds.
And they like playing on the playgrounds, and right now in the schools where we're usually playing, they're not letting us use the playgrounds.
Y yo pienso pues que no está fair que no nos dejen a nosotros pues jugar en los campos, que todos somos humanos, ¿verdad? Y todos tenemos un derecho a jugar en los parques. Yo sé que
And I don't think it's fair that we are not being let play on the fields, and we're all human and we should all have a right to play in the parks.
Yo sé que todos cometemos errores, ¿verdad? A veces en el fútbol, pero yo pienso que tienen que ser iguales para como para una liga y otra liga, ¿verdad? Dejarnos jugar igual.
We all commit mistakes, and I think that the rules should be applied to all leagues the same and equally.
Y yo quisiera que nos dieran una oportunidad de otra vez usar las canchas a los parques para jugar nuestro fútbol, porque eso es a nivel mundial, ¿verdad? Que el fútbol está todo en todos los países.
I would like to be given the opportunity to play again because football is so popular amongst the entire nation.
Sí, y yo quisiera pues que ustedes nos dieran una oportunidad más para jugar en los parques de la ciudad, ¿eh? Y yo con eso les deseo pues todo.
And I would like to be given the opportunity to be able to play again in the parks. And that is it.
That's it.
Gracias.
Buenas tardes a todos.
Good afternoon, all.
Tengo dos preguntas.
I have two questions.
La primera es, los taxis que pagamos en Fresno, una parte de ellas va para la seguridad de los parques.
The first is the taxes that we pay in Fresno. Part of that goes to the security of Fresno.
Parks, don't know.
And the parks.
Security Fresno Parks. Sí, ¿no? That's the first question, because porque he visto en algunos parques donde se jugaba fútbol, soccer, que nunca he visto un policía o un
I have noticed that in the parks when we are playing, I have never noticed a security guard or a police officer.
Esa fue una de las preguntas. La otra pregunta que tengo es que dijeron, no sé si fue el señor Aaron Aguirre, que hay un programa de $50,000 para deporte de los niños.
The second question is about a comment that I heard made of the $50,000 for a grant opportunity for children.
Y la pregunta aquí es que si hay esos programas, ¿por qué pararon una liga que tiene a muchos equipos de niños.
The question is if there is that grant opportunity. ¿Cómo es la pregunta?
Okay. Otra vuelta. La pregunta es, ¿por qué si hay este programa para deportes, por qué pararon una liga?
If there is this opportunity for sports, why would you stop a league from playing?
Yeah, de fútbol.
The soccer.
Ajá. Que la pararon de hace 8 meses,
That
entonces
you stopped from playing 8 months ago.
sí, estamos haciendo programas para niños.
If we are also making programs for children,
¿Por qué parar una liga que no es non-profit, no lucrativa?
why are you
Ajá,
stopping a league that is also nonprofit
que tiene que ver con niños.
that has to do with children?
So, esas son mis 2 preguntas. Espero que
Those are my 2 questions.
haya servido de algo y muchas gracias por escucharme.
I hope it helps in something, and thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. Next speaker is Ivan Dorantes.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the committee. I thank you for the opportunity. I have two issues or topics, if you may, if I may. First of all, Hispanic League. They've been around for many years, helping the community and providing this entertainment that keeps a lot of people away from, causing trouble. Sports do that. They help, the community stay in the right path. Now, my name is Ivan Dorantes. I've been coaching for over 20 years. I've coached, club, recreational, school. I'm now a coach at Edison High. We were Valley champs last year. And throughout the years, over this 20 years or so, I've noticed that a lot of, and this is my second topic, I apologize if I just jumped to it. But over the years, I've noticed that a lot of kids graduate from high school or go to high school, but don't get the chance to go play club because clubs have tended to get expensive. They tend to, over the years, have tended to make it an elite sport, They charge a great amount of money every month. And a lot of families, low-income families, especially from the west side, don't have that opportunity. You see a lot of clubs in Clovis. You see a lot of clubs in North Fresno. But on the west side, which is where Edison is, those kids don't have the opportunity that a lot of kids have. And the only reason is because they don't have the funds. So I took it upon myself to build or start a nonprofit org with the purpose of getting all these kids to learn the sport, to advance in the sport, to prepare them, to get them to the next level. And I was here, not only, like I said, talking in favor of Hispanic, but to see if there was a possibility that the city can sponsor us as a nonprofit, a field where I can have all these kids train. Because as of right now, we don't have a soccer field where we can call home or we can call, we can train. We're just, whatever we find a spot, then we'll practice there. But so I was trying to see if I can get the city to sponsor us in that way. So I appreciate your giving me the opportunity, and I've spoken to Mr. Jose about this, and if you guys decide in favor, please let me know.
Thank you. Do we have anyone online? Okay. Before I close unscheduled communication, I want to go back out to the public to see if they have any comments in regards. Please bring your cards up, please. our speaker is Mario Caballero.
Buenas tardes a todos. Con todo respeto, me dirijo a ustedes. Necesito un traductor.
Un momento,
Sí,
please.
gracias. ¿Lista? Buenas tardes a todos.
Good afternoon, all.
Mi nombre es Mario Caballero y represento a la Adam Soccer League.
My name
Es una liga de
is
fútbol.
Marco Caballero, and I represent Adams Soccer League.
Soccer League. Es una liga que nació en 1910.
It's a
Yo
league
creo
that
que
was
es
born in 1910.
entre la Hispanic y estas son de las más viejas que
Between
quedan.
Hispanic League and this one, they're the oldest leagues.
Escucho que hablan solo de la Hispanic y no hablan de la Adam Soccer League, no
I
hablan
hear
de
them
la
speaking of Hispanic League, but not of Adams.
de la Soccer Sam, no hablan de la
They
Central.
don't talk about Soccer Sam or Central.
Entonces, hemos estado trabajando con parques y recreaciones y
We
nos
have been
dan
working with the
parques.
Parks Department.
Cuando estuvo la pandemia, les voy a hacer un recordatorio más o menos de que por qué no hay parques. A mí me lo dijeron,
When the pandemic was going on,
que si no se levantaba la veda, no iba a haber parques después para rentarlos.
they,
Y- la veda de la pandemia.
okay.
Cuando el
So,
gobernador,
during the pandemic, they were saying that if the restrictions weren't lifted, there weren't going to be any parks for us to play
antes,
in.
antes de que se levantara la veda, que el gobernador la levantara,
Before the restrictions were
varias ligas
lifted,
empezaron a jugar.
various leagues started playing.
Yo iba a parques y recreaciones y les decía, hey, ya están jugando tales
I
ligas,
would go to parks and let them know that there were leagues out
Por-
there playing.
¿por qué no me dan permiso a mí?
Why wouldn't I get the
Y
permission
dijeron,
to play?
ellos no tienen permiso.
They
Si
would
tú
tell me
quieres-
that they didn't have permission either.
Si tú quieres jugar, juega.
If
y vas
we
a
wanted
tener
to play,
problemas
we could
después.
play, but then we would have problems later on.
Vas a tener problemas después. Entonces yo me
So I waited.
hasta que el gobernador levantó la veda.
I waited until
Mientras
the
tanto,
governor lifted the restrictions.
Las demás ligas ya habían arrancado.
In the meantime, all the other leagues had already started playing.
Ya cuando ya me dijeron que ya se podía reservar los parques,
When they told me that I could start reserving,
empecé conforme
that's
la
when I
ordenanza.
started doing it.
¿eh? Y ya me dijeron que todas las ligas que no habían respetado la veda
They told
iban
me
a
that-
tener problemas
They told me
después.
that all the other leagues that hadn't respected the
Yo,
restrictions
yo
would
me
have
imagino,
consequences.
yo me imagino que ahorita lo que estoy escuchando de varios que por qué no hay parques,
I'm
pues a lo mejor lo están
imagining-
castigando, pienso
I'm
yo.
imagining that these
Pienso
other
yo,
people that are commenting
Porque
on
me echan la
this,
culpa
it's
que
part of
yo
that,
les echo tierra, pero no, no es así.
because they're saying that I talk bad about them, but it's not about that.
La central, la Liga Central está trabajando.
The
Soccer
Central
Sam
League is
está
working,
trabajando.
Soccer Sam is working.
La Adam Soccer League está trabajando.
Adam Soccer League
La Adam
is
Soccer
working.
League, en sus siglas, en su abreviación, quiere decir Amistad Deportiva de las Américas para el Mundo.
Adam's acronym is
Significa Amistad Deportiva de las Américas
Friendship.
para el Mundo.
Sporting Friendship of the World.
Amistad Deportiva de las
Así, pero en
Américas para
inglés
el
es al revés.
No sé cómo se dice.
It's the Sporting Friendship of the World, acronym in Spanish.
Y eso yo lo ponía cuando reservaba los parques.
And I would put that when I
Y
reserved the parks.
las personas encargadas de los parques me decían, oye, pero ¿por qué le pones Adam Soccer League y luego le pones Amistad Deportiva?
And
Le
they
digo,
would
es
ask
que es la
me why I
abreviación.
would put Adams as the acronym and then put the full name at the bottom.
Y me hicieron que nomás le pusiera Adam, que no le
And they
pusiera
asked
Amistad
me to just
Deportiva,
use the acronym,
porque
Adams,
era otra liga.
because
Dicen,
it would
todos
be
son dos
another
ligas.
league. And they were thinking it was
¿Sí?
two leagues.
Entonces ha habido ciertas regulaciones, y está bien. El señor Aarón está trabajando muy bien.
So
No
there-
tenemos nosotros problemas con los parques ninguno.
We haven't had any issues with any of the parks.
Ahora, yo no voy a hablar mal del Hispanic,
I'm
pero
not
hay,
going to
hay
speak
que
bad of the
ver,
Hispanic League.
hay que ver que si hay una Walmart, la Walmart no va, si no permite que haya una marqueta.
Now, if we think of like Walmart, if
Yo,
Walmart
yo-
doesn't
yo pienso que
allow there to
es un
be a-
ejemplo que entonces va a ser monopolio. ¿Por qué no dejan funcionar las demás ligas? Nomás porque tiene que ser la Hispanic.
So,
La hispánica es la que se
using as an
absorbe
example
la
that
mayoría
if
de campos.
Walmart didn't allow a certain market to go up in their place, it would become a monopoly.
No sé si me explique o no me entiendan, pero es un ejemplo que les digo,
It's
bueno,
just an example that I'm trying to give.
el soccer yo sé, es universal y es necesario.
Soccer is universal and it's necessary.
Ahora, con los niños,
But with
yo
the
tengo desde
kids,
1912
I've been working with
con
them
equipos de niños, mientras la Hispanic tiene apenas 3, 4 años.
since 2012, and
Y es una liga más vieja que
and the
la de
Hispanic
nosotros.
League. La Liga Hispana, ¿cuántos años?
Se me da que él nació en 1909, algo así, o 1907. Yo nací, la liga de nosotros nació en 1910. Tenemos ya 16 años, 15, 16 años.
Our league was born in 2010. So it's been
Y
a
hemos
little bit over
estado
16 years.
dándole servicio a todos los niños. Tenemos
So we've been
niños
servicing many
que
children,
nacieron ahí en el fútbol
young children that have
y
been born
empezamos
into
a,
the sport,
empezamos a armar la cantera, que le llamamos.
and we've been building it.
Ya esos jóvenes que están hablando de la high school y todo eso, yo soy árbitro también.
These young kids
Yo
that
soy
are
árbitro.
speaking, I'm also a coach,
Y árbitro,
referee.
referee. Bueno, y teníamos un colegio,
We have a
precisamente
college
esta persona que es árbitro, que también habló ahorita
that
aquí,
we have a
pertenecíamos al mismo
precisely this
grupo.
person that is also a referee that came up to speak.
Y yo estoy de acuerdo que todos los árbitros se
We
preparan
agree that all of the referees are prepared
para llevar orden
to take
a
orders
cada
into
lugar
hand
donde hay un encuentro.
with all of the kids, and,
Y es lo mismo que van a hacer ustedes, poner
and
orden.
it's the same thing that you guys should do, just put order. Ya se acabó.
Six. Thank you. Yeah, I need you to fill out a card though, please. Can you fill out the card? Is there any card there? I need it for record. Yeah, I just needed to have it here for record, please.
To promote is improving our policies and policies to improve the number of soccer facilities, fields for the kids. And also, one of my jobs was to go to all the parks and to take a look and see what was going. So another policy I'd like to do or suggest is to promote safety in all facilities, not only soccer, but softball fields, football fields, all the amenities or facilities that you have for all different sports. I'd like to promote a policy that we improve that. I think that I've seen a lot of violence, not only with the sports, but other constituents of use of the parks and so forth. And so I think that would go a long way into improving, because I've seen soccer. Soccer's not one of my favorite sports, but I've seen the magic that they've done with the kids. And they are right. These gentlemen are right. The kids, we owe it to the future of the kids. And it's also helping the kids helps promote the One Fresno concept that the mayor has. So I strongly suggest that we work on our policies aforementioned. And I thank you for your time. And as always, we appreciate you as a community.
Thank you. Anyone else in the room?
No lo llenó, no lo llenó. Okay. Muy buenas tardes a todos,
Good afternoon to all.
a todos los presentes. Mi nombre es Humberto Campos,
My name is Humberto Campos,
que represento al presidente de la Hispanic Soccer League.
and I come as the president of the Hispanic
Estoy
League.
aquí especialmente para pedir apoyo a todos para que se hagan más canchas
I
para
am
toda nuestra
specifically
comunidad.
here to ask for your support in producing more courts and fields for the community.
que creo que es importante, porque el fútbol ha crecido mucho en nuestra área
I think it's important because football or soccer has increased a lot in our community.
y el tener más canchas pues sería importante para toda nuestra
And
comunidad.
having more fields available in courts would be.
Yo no vengo a hablar aquí especialmente de ninguna liga, mi respeto para todos.
I'm not here to talk about any league. I respect all.
Creo que si nosotros hemos crecido tanto por 18 años,
I think that if we've grown over the last 18 years,
de tener cerca de 120, a veces 150 equipos,
we have close to 120, sometimes 150 teams.
creo que ha sido por nuestro gran trabajo,
I
¿verdad?
think it's been because of our great work.
Entonces seguiremos adelante apoyando este hermoso deporte que es mi pasión.
So we're going to continue forward sponsoring this great sport.
Y en cuanto a la suspensión que nos dieron
And
sobre las
speaking of the
canchas,
suspension that we received,
creo que fue algo injusto, ¿verdad? Porque para culpar a alguien primero se tiene que investigar.
I think it was a little unjust because when you punish somebody, you should investigate
Realmente cómo fueron las cosas para culparlo a uno.
how things really were.
No es justo que se hayan peleado dos personas,
It's not just that two people were in a fight
¿verdad? Que no tuvo que ver nada con la liga
that had nothing to do with the league,
y nos hayan culpado a toda nuestra organización.
and they would have blamed, and they put the blame on our entire organization.
Créanme que nosotros no promovemos violencia,
We don't promote violence.
no promovemos alcohol.
We don't promote alcohol.
Lamentablemente en este deporte siempre va a pasar.
Sadly, in this sport, it will always happen.
Entonces, por eso se le pide el apoyo a veces de la policía,
So we would like to ask for support of PD
cuando suceden tipos de problemas.
when there are problems like this.
Sin embargo, a veces uno les llama y nunca acuden a ayudarnos, ¿verdad?
However, sometimes we do call them and they don't come.
Yo he recibido insultos de que no son tus parques,
I have received insults telling me that it's not my
me han
part.
inventado hasta mi madre, como se dice,
They have told me off,
¿verdad? Por a veces tratar de calmar los problemas.
sometimes because I'm just trying to resolve a problem.
Sin embargo, pues uno solo a veces no puede dar con tanta gente
But sometimes just one person is not enough with so many
que
people.
lo primero que me dice no son tus parques.
So the first thing that everybody tells me is it's not your park.
Entonces es importante a veces controlar la violencia
So it's important to control the violence.
y nosotros como liga tenemos nuestras reglas para castigar todas las personas que hacen algún problema.
And us as a league, we also do punish people that cause problems.
Entonces es todo lo que les quería decir. Gracias por escucharme
That is
y
all that I
espero
wanted
que
to say.
pronto
Thank you for
se
listening.
solucione esto para toda nuestra comunidad
I hope we can solve this soon
que los he estado apoyando por muchos años.
for the entire community that's been supporting us for a long
Muchas
time.
gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I have one more card. Says, are you on unscheduled or you want the other item on the agenda? You can come up. Okay.
Hello. First and foremost, peace. My name is Cesar Casamayor. I'm a community organizer with Integral Community Solutions Institute. I work with system-impacted youth and youth involved in the justice system. And what I wanted to have a conversation with you and hopefully get some answers is, Romaine Park basketball courts continue to be not in good shape. We've been back in 2015. I remember coming into the City Planning Commission and saying that the water fountains in the park don't work, and they still don't work. The water comes out very low. If you look at the basketball courts in Romaine Park, they're dread. The flow is ripped up, and every time it rains, they fixed it. Every 5 years, they fix it, but it keeps going back. There needs to be better solutions to allow for more traffic back into the park. I appreciate the access into the facility inside for the basketball, for the hoopers. But I think also, I don't want to lose sight that there's not just soccer, but there's also American football leagues that are also in the parks that also need to be accounted for and in the same tone, accessible to community. And the last thing I want to say is that we continue to see the city be very exclusive on who they work with. We need to have more inclusivity. And I want to go back to some of the beginning conversations when this Parks Commission was was being constructed about participatory budgeting processes so community can have more say-so and feel more empowered to make decisions that impact us every day. And I think if we don't have more of inclusion in community, we're going to continue to see people come up and continue to complain and complain and complain. The best thing that you guys can do is push city council to have more participatory budgeting processes that allows people in community, regardless of citizenship or anything, but allows for community to have a voice. And I think that's the best way moving forward.
Thank you. I will now close unscheduled communication, and we will now move on to workshops. ID number 26-122, workshop overview of the Parks Athletic Facility Reservation Policy. Would someone from the Parks Department please begin the presentation?
Good evening. My name is Christy McIsaac, and I will be presenting the Athletic Facility Policy Overview. All right, so there are a few updates from the last overview done in July of last year. I do ask that you save all your questions until the completion of this presentation. So some of the things we're going to talk about is purpose, policy implementation, policy overview, reservation information, and then looking ahead. So the purpose of the policy is to help further Measure P, our dedicated parks sales tax measure, as well as the goals of the parks master plan by guiding access, reservations, and use of the city's athletic facilities by residents, community organizations, businesses, and non-residents, and provide equitable and reasonable access to public facilities. This is the first formal athletic facility policy. It establishes expectation for reservation holders and improves maintenance and rest periods for grass fields. In fiscal year 24, implementation of this reservation policy and application process was presented to align with Measure P and comply with the Fresno Municipal Code.
Christy, I'm sorry, can you change the slide?
We're still on this one. I'm just going over my notes. And then in FY25, the first year of the policy and the application process was implemented. FY26 and 27 will continue to monitor and revise as needed. There's your next slide, Aaron. So now we're going to go over some policy implementation. So it was effective March 11th, 2024. It's to informed reservation stakeholders via email. So there was 2 technical workshops that were held in March, so March 20th and March 21st. Staff and park rangers were also present at this workshop in March. This information was also presented at PRAC on July 21st, 2025. And we are working on getting an additional workshop in this coming February to review the policy once again, as well as provide information on any updates since the policy was first rolled out. So a policy overview. Reservations are required for exclusive use of a facility. Reservations will take priority over non-reservation use, including drop-ins. Applicant representative is responsible for all activity conducted during the reservation period by teams, observers, parents, coaches, coach assistants, referees, umpires, friends, families, visitors, etc. I do want to note that all parties related to a reservation should also follow our park rules and code of conduct. Applicant must be accessible throughout the application process and present during all times and dates of event reservation. Reservations cannot be transferred to another organization. Reservations may not be used for any other purpose than the reserved purpose. Publicizing of events using our facilities require a reservation. And then we are going to, in this next slide, go over the 2 different reservation requests, which are occasional reservations and advanced reservations. So first we have occasional reservations. So who can reserve these? These are for individuals playing with friends or family. It's not for leagues or programs. Applicants or nonprofit representatives must be at least 18 years of age or older. When can they reserve? They can reserve same-day reservations, may be available. Same-day reservations accept facilities as is. Reservations require site preparation, must be made at least 72 hours in advance, but no more than 4 weeks in advance. And then what they can reserve any regional or neighborhood athletic facility that has availability at the time of reservation. Any individual may reserve no more than twice per month. And then there are 3 ways that they can reserve. They can go online, they can call, or they can come in person, and we'd be happy to help them. Insurance is typically not required for occasional reservations for individual play. Standard reservation waivers are required, though, for participants. Our goal here is to ensure reservations are used only by occasional users, which are individuals playing with friends and family. And again, those reservations are no more than twice per month. Now we have advanced reservations. So I'm going to go start with who can reserve. So advanced reservations are for leagues, for regular practice, games, tournaments, clinics, programs, special events, activities that collect revenue. And again, applicants or nonprofit representative must be at least 18 years of age or older. What can they reserve? Again, they can reserve any regional or neighborhood athletic facility that has availability. They will go through an application process. So how they apply is they go online and they can reserve the fields, courts, or other city facilities within that application process. When they can apply, advanced reservations can book recurring reservations for 3 months at a time. Advanced reservation applications shall be submitted quarterly. The department will review all requests and approve field reservations in accordance with the review process and allocation of facilities section of the policy. So on this screen, you can also see our reservation dates, applications open, when their deadline for consideration, and then when we would respond to that application. So the goal here is to ensure that reservations are confirmed in advance to organize recurring or planned activities. Advanced reservations do require insurance that meets the city's insurance requirements. We reserve these advanced reservations on a quarterly basis, and we follow an application submittal process that includes a time frame to submit applications. All applications submitted by the deadline for consideration will be reviewed, scored, and ranked by the criteria listed in the policy. The scoring topics were put in place to further the purpose of Measure P and the goals of the Parks Master Plan. The topics include youth and senior recreation programs, serving the City of Fresno residents, benefits to surrounding neighborhoods, good standing, and total number of people served. And there are more details on the scoring process that are outlined in the policy. We always highly recommend that submission to have an advanced reservation meets our deadlines, but we will still take applications after the deadline has passed. Any late requests submitted after the quarterly deadline will be processed on a first-come, first-served basis, and will be subject to availability after the applications submitted in the consideration timeframe are served. Then we have reservable days and hours. So most of or all of our reservable hours are 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Outdoor courts, indoor gyms, and diamonds are reservable every day of the week. Grass fields are available to reserve on Thursdays through Sundays. This applies to both occasional and advanced reservations. The only exception to the grass field availability is the regional sports complex, which is available to reserve every day of the week. The reservation time slots are based on the City of Fresno master fee schedule. Speaking of fees, So the fees on the chart reflect our standard fee rates and follow the city's adopted master fee schedule. Organizations with a valid nonprofit ID number qualify for reduced fees. The fee will be reduced by 15%. A reservation is not confirmed until it has been paid in full. All payments must be paid in the form of exact cash, debit, credit, cashier's check, money orders, or business checks made payable to the city. Occasional reservations must be paid at the time of the reservation. Advanced reservations must be paid at least 30 days from the date of response. Reservations not paid by these timeframes will be canceled. It's not moving over. Not sure why it's not going. Thank you. We have refund, cancellations, and transfers. So it is the responsibility of the reservation holder to notify the Parks Department immediately when an approved reservation date is no longer needed. Changes to reservation or cancellation requests must be submitted to the Parks Department by email or the play line at least 10 days, business days in advance of the reservation date to be considered for a refund. If a cancellation is received less than 10 days before the reservation, fees will be forfeited. All refunds will be subject to a $15 processing fee. If a refund is authorized, credit card refunds will be issued back to the card used for payment. All other forms of payment will be refunded by the city-issued check. If the city does not guarantee field availability for requested changes, and if your reservation is impacted by weather, it may be transferred to another date within 2 weeks of the original reservation pending availability. This policy also includes details related to refunds, cancellations, and transfers within the policy. Now we're going to go over Code of Conduct and Corrective Action Process. So our Code of Conduct, it is the commitment of the City of the Fresno Parks Department to ensure that all park facilities are free from negative, aggressive, and inappropriate behaviors, and that the environment is geared towards providing high-quality programs, services, and facilities in the atmosphere of respect, collaboration, openness, safety, and positivity. So we do want the parks to be an enjoyable and a positive experience. If the city observes any activity that goes against the policy, park rules, or code of conduct, we will follow a corrective action process that is further outlined within our policy. The city reserves the right to remove patrons from facilities or programs via suspension or other means deemed appropriate by the city. There we go. So we do have 2 steps within our corrective action process. So step 1 is a warning. It'll be given a written notice to the reservation holder. Step 2 would be a meet and suspend. So meeting with the reservation holder and or organization representative to discuss the violation, and then prepare an outline of circumstances, including terms of restriction of facility. The following steps will be taken by the director or designee to address and resolve complaints and violations. The city reserves the right to combine or skip steps depending upon facts of each situation and the nature of the offense. And those who are given corrective action have a right to appeal this decision, which is outlined in the policy. As far as our application process, so our athletic facility reservation application, both occasional and advanced, are available online. There are some required information that they'll be required to complete within that application. There's also some optional information that maybe doesn't apply to all of our application holders, and they will have to acknowledge and confirm some of the things at the very end of that application. We do have a scoring process. So to further the purpose of Measure P and the goals of the Parks Master Plan, youth and senior recreation programs may take priority over other requests. The department will follow this criteria when reviewing request dates and potential scheduling conflicts. Allocations will be made based on total score using this scoring criteria. If 2 or more advanced applications receive the same score, a lottery selection will be used to determine which request will be selected. And the city has the right to limit field reservations per customer. If requesting to reserve multiple fields, the requester may be asked to rank them in order of priority. I want to give you a little overview of the athletic facility reservation information. This is updated as of December. So total by facility type will give you a breakdown of what is being requested within these applications. So as of December 21st, 2025, we have had 139 diamond requests, 221 field requests, 17 indoor gym requests, 10 hockey rink requests, and 33 sports court requests, with a total of 420 applications total have been scored, with some organizations submitting more than 1 application per quarter. Last July, the total of applications that we presented to you was at 245. So within the last 6 months, an additional 175 applications were submitted. That is a 71% increase. 183 separate organizations have submitted an advance application as of December 2025. When previously presented in July, there were 93 organizations that had submitted an application. This is 90 additional organizations that have submitted an application within the last 6 months. This is almost a 97% increase since the last time it was presented to you. Within the 420 applications submitted, we were able to accommodate 61% of those applications, and 17% requests were approved with modifications due to conflicts, whether that be internal or external. So looking ahead, we'll continue to collaborate with staff and park rangers. We're going to collect feedback from the community, and we are going to hold another athletic facility reservation policy community meeting to ensure all community members are up to date on all our athletic facility reservation policies and procedures. And I appreciate your time today. I'll take any questions. Thank you.
Let me turn my mic on. Thank you for that presentation. I'd like to talk a little bit about the corrective action process. When there is unwanted activity happening at the parks, or someone is like drinking or whatever it could be, and they're given a written notice to the reservation holder, step 2 is meet and suspend, right?
Correct.
So when they're meeting, are they discussing any type of compromise, or are they just automatically kicked out?
So there is an appeal process. So they're not, there is a time or a opportunity for them to appeal the decision that has been made. We do collect all the evidence that we can on our end before we suspend any sort of organization or person from within our parks. And then at that point, at director's approval, we do go ahead and meet and suspend, but they are given that opportunity to appeal that suspension. And again, that is given to our director for final approval.
And how is evidence collected?
It just depends on the situation. So sometimes we have video evidence, sometimes we have police reports, sometimes we have staff and park ranger reports as well. So there's a collection of things that can be collected. We try to collect as much as possible that we can. Sometimes it's community members that are providing us that information as well that we have to look further into. So it really just does depend on the situation and what we're able to collect. But if we collect as much as possible to make that decision.
And when you say video, from my knowledge, there's no video or any cameras at the park. So is there cameras at the parks, or you have videos being submitted by?
Typically, it's by the community. And so if we can utilize that video for evidence purposes, then we will. But I know that there is some of our parks at this time that are now having some sort of video. But for the most part, it is our community members that are videoing and submitting that information to us. But we do go ahead and further investigate if we can find any further information on that.
So correct me if I'm wrong. Did you just say some parks are now starting to get video cameras put inside them?
Yes, and I want to direct that question to Aaron because I don't have it off the top of my head.
I can address that for you. So the cameras that we now are installing are kind of temporary in nature. They're similar to what you see at like a Home Depot, Lowe's, the malls. They're the solar panels that are aimed at our vehicles, more so for the break-ins. We're having fuel lines cut from our trucks. We're having Cadillac converters. So it's really an attempt to focus those eyes on our vehicles, and those are monitored 24/7 by a service. They're not monitoring our fields. They're not monitoring the inside of our community centers. They're our parking lots protecting our assets.
Okay. Another quick question. Once you meet and discuss the activity that took place to violate the use of the park, how long is the suspension?
That depends. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
That depends on the violation and the extent of the violation and the offense. So if it is a safety to our community, that might have a longer suspension if we see that the safety as in people are being harmed within our parks.
Okay.
So we obviously want to make sure that everybody's safe within our parks. And
so
the parks
when you
are
say
safe.
harmed, are you mean like a typical fist fight?
Like any sort of physical altercation, yeah. So we want to make sure that we are ensuring that our parks are a safe community for everybody to enjoy. So again, it just depends on the information that we're collecting and how long we think that suspension should be. And again, that's at director's approval.
So what's the typical length of a suspension?
6 months is usually the length
6
of
months
it, is what we've given, yeah.
Has anyone ever been banned?
So we currently have one right now for reasons I won't go into here in this public setting, but be happy to share with you through I'll check with legal counsel on how we can do that, but don't want to put that out. It is pertaining to a organization, so I don't want to put that information out, but we do have one.
No, just a yes or a no is pretty good for me. I'm just asking because some people do make mistakes. Sometimes it's people that are attending these games or activities at the park that tend to cause the commotions. So just want to know, even though it may not have been, for instance, if I made a reservation for a park, but then I have other people who are coming that are not part of my group that are making noise and making trouble, and I know that the reservation is in my name, I'm responsible for that. So how long would that typically suspend me from being able to make another reservation? I got my question. Thank you, though. So can you answer my question, please?
I'm sorry,
So like if I know I'm responsible. Say, for instance, I'm having a game and you got some people that are visiting the park that are not a part of the group. And they bring alcohol or whatever to the park, but the reservation is in my name. Typically, how long is that suspension? Or is that a warning?
So I think if you're talking about like a picnic pavilion, you're having something like that, that's a little bit different than I think a sports league that has an ongoing reservation. In that case where maybe you have a family reunion at, say, at one of our picnic shelters, and your guests come in, you sign the document that basically states you're responsible for your individuals there. We haven't had one like that yet, so it really is case by case, but in something like that, I think that would typically start off with a warning process that's here, depending on the severity of that, I'm not naive to say people don't drink in our parks. We go and look at our parks and there's beer cans in the trash cans. I'm not sitting here saying it's because of that group. I know it happens out there. I've seen it in our picnic pavilions. I've seen it, unfortunately, in some of the tot lot areas, So in that case, if we had evidence to say that it was your party, more than likely we'd start off with some sort of a warning and look at, is it something that is a frequent reservation holder that continues to have this problem? Then we would go on from there. But typically it'd be a warning to start.
Is it the same for any leagues that are trying to reserve the park for games?
As far as the warning?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I'll give you an example. We've had leagues where, they're parking on the lawn, and that's a violation of our policy. We're trying to enhance the turf and keep our fields as playable as possible. Park rangers have gone out and documented, hey, they're parking on the fields. We've asked them to move. They won't move. So that's something that definitely gets a warning. That's not an immediate suspension. So we try to work with the leagues as best as possible, knowing the demand for sports in our parks. So that is something there that did result in a warning letter. But then again, if it did happen again, where then we would then sit down and look at something beyond a warning letter. Now, if that was let's say they're parking on the lawn, next week you go out and they have, they painted the fields or something like that. That would kind of be a separate warning on a separate item. I wouldn't kind of put them back to back. I wouldn't count them as one. I'd count them as two separate infractions.
Are we doubling up on park rangers when these parks are being reserved for like league games, football, basketball, soccer?
So we share our reservation schedule with PD. Park rangers have all of our league schedules, and even our one-time reservations, picnic pavilions. They have picnic pavilion reservations. They have our advanced and our kind of day of reservations. So they have all of that available to them. Now, if there's potential issues with, a big group coming in, they will circle through. For instance, some of our facilities, they're popular parks, not just for the sports fields. Tot Lot's popular, the walking trail is popular. So in those instances on weekends, they know their presence is probably required there a little more frequent than a pocket park. So knowing what's going on in our parks has helped them get through and patrol those on a higher level.
And we're still under the 20 of the required park rangers that this measure calls for, correct?
We are. I believe we're at 19 right now, so we are right there.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Barraza, you have any questions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I want to thank a lot of the folks from the soccer leagues. Something that I want to thank you for is all the volunteer efforts that all of you put in, the coaches, the players, the parents. I know that I have personally seen Mario, Beto, some of the other folks doing the hard work before, during, and after the games. They work very hard, all of them, all the leagues, to upkeep the facilities. Part of the problem is when we overload the use of the facilities, after a while, they get worn. And right now, because they punished the Hispanic Soccer League, at Pillabos Park, it looks beautiful. Well, yes, but we need more soccer fields so that we can accommodate the demand for soccer and not just necessarily, I'm not saying that we're relying on the punishment to upkeep the facilities, but it just happened to be the outcome. I wanted to make an observation regarding the process. Something that folks have not discussed at all is the appeal process. One of the sections of the city ordinance, section 509, under the category of permission to use designated park areas and conduct group activities, it says any interested person may appeal any decisions of the director may, under this section, and related to an application for a permit for the use of a special activity or group activity to the city manager, who immediately hear and consider the matter and grant with conditions, or deny the permit, or deny or deny the permit or grant the permit. In other words, either uphold the decision of the director or change it. I don't think you have informed the Hispanic Soccer League that that was an option available to them. That's one observation. The other observation that I want to make, as we review the policies, and hopefully we have an opportunity to make recommendations to improve policies, I personally think that it would be very useful to have an independent review process. The thing that kind of worries me is that I think that your investigative part is very limited. You just go and punish because of what you see. I mean, I'm sorry, I happen to have read a lot about this case, the case of the Hispanic Soccer League, on the media. So it's public information, in addition to the fact that I have been in conversations with representatives of the Hispanic Soccer League. In that particular instance, the part that I did not like was that a league that has more than 125 teams, you decided to punish everybody. Punish the teams that were engaged in doing something wrong, whatever that was. Part of the other problem, and our board chair said, our commission chair did a very good job in describing how sometimes you tackle a problem that occurs at the parking area just because the league happened to be associated with that. The leagues themselves have their own rules. Both I've heard Mario, I've heard Beto, that they have their own rules. They punish their players when they don't behave, and which is a very good thing. And I think that there probably needs to be a better discussion between the soccer leagues and the city of Fresno. The other part that I think is not very clear is the role of the various participants. I'm talking about the Fresno City Police Department. What exactly is their role? Well, the last time I heard, it was to enforce ordinances and take people to jail that don't behave. Well, why can't they do that at the parks when it's necessary? You heard that the enforcement on the part of the soccer leagues is very hard because they're not police officers, and they hear their reminder of their family when they go and try to ask someone to stop doing some misbehaved action. And I think there needs to be more dialogue between all the folks, all the leagues. And it's true that every league, depending on the size, has different types of issues and needs. So there probably should be more review of those issues. The last time you had a workshop was 2020, I believe it's 24. So it's now going to be, we're going to the second year. So I think that it would be very useful, and in the matter that this item was listed, unfortunately, was listed as a workshop, and I was hoping that it would be in a hearing, but I think now that we're having the benefit of your presentation, which is very good, a very good presentation, which is a little bit similar to what we heard before, and you were wonderful the first time that you gave us a lot of good information. But I think it's more about what can we do to promote sports. Soccer happens to be a very important sport that is the fastest growing sport, but we are not, obviously we as commissioners support all the sports, basketball, softball, baseball, everything. And I've heard of incidents in the other sports too. I haven't followed up as to what punishment you administer there, but there are problems that I think can better be solved if we work together. I hope that for a future discussion, that this matter can be scheduled as a hearing so that perhaps the community, along with us commissioners, can make recommendations. How can we do things better? We all want to promote sports at all levels, even football. I recall that our chair and I passed a motion with the support of the commission to support the creation of more facilities in those areas. And that's awesome because we all care about fixing problems. And it's not about creating an adversarial relationship. You folks at the City Parks Department work very hard. You do a lot of good things. So it's not like it's all terrible. The point is, when we run into issues, how do we work together? Something else that I learned from the soccer leagues that have used school facilities, they have told me that at the schools, there happens to be a lot of fencing around. And guess what? That allows them to control who accesses the games. They happen to have better control where they can not allow somebody to go in if they happen to have beer or whatever other problem. So the environmental areas of where the sports are played for the safety, from the safety standpoint, is also very important. The other thing I also requested, and unfortunately I don't see anyone from the police department. I was hoping to have the police department because they are our police, and that means in our city, the folks that play soccer are also entitled to have a little bit of help. And because of that, I would like to see what has happened with public safety at the parks since we added the park ranger classification. And it was promised at one of our hearings that we will have a report on that. I thought that now it would have been, I added the word public safety to my request on this topic, and I hope we have a conversation on that, only for the purpose of making things better. We're not trying to place blame on anyone other than whatever is necessary because of the policies that have to be implemented. But I'd like to have a continued, more constructive discussion of this topic of how we can do things together to I heard such a beautiful example of a gentleman says, I take my kids to play soccer, but also my younger kids go and play at the playgrounds. That's what it's all about, public enjoyment of our facilities. And at the end, we all paid the taxes. They made an observation about taxes, and now with Measure P, every time we go to the store, a fraction of that sales tax goes to Measure P. That's the reason why all of this is relevant to all of us. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Sorry, Commissioner Duran.
Thank you. Nothing at this time. Thank you.
Commissioner Miller.
Actually, I just wanted to thank our translator. That was a heroic last-minute pivot, and I really just want you to know how appreciated that was.
Vice Chair Ward.
I just want to thank you for the presentation and thank all the committee members who took the time to come out and speak around these issues tonight. And, as Commissioner Braza was saying, maybe there'll be something where we're able to weigh in and, maybe share some thoughts on how this can continue to improve. Thank you.
Commissioner Kurcharski.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the
facility reservation information. I had a couple questions on that. Of the 22% that could not be accommodated, what facility type was that? Is it one or a combination?
That can just be a combination of all different facility types. And that usually is either because it's unavailable at the time, it could be an internal reservation that we have, programming that we have, external reservations. If they're submitting after the deadline, then it's on a first come, first served basis. So if that facility is already being reserved by another organization or party, then we'd have to deny them. We do our very best to supply them with other facilities that they can reserve if they like. So we're always looking for other ways to accommodate their reservation requests.
Yeah, was it mostly for soccer? Is it mostly for baseball? Do you know?
I would have to run some numbers on that and see what it was mostly. I know most of our reservations are soccer fields, so that's the majority. And then close second, I believe, is diamonds. So I would have to run some numbers on that to give you a better example of what is that 22%.
And Commissioner Kucharski, just to chime in on that.
Sure.
Typically, most of our conflicts are due to lights. So, everyone works till 5 o'clock or so. So right now, lit fields are at a premium. So, that's something that we've tried to incorporate in some of our future designs and even retrofitted some of our existing parks like Collegian that we just added some sports lighting to. So that one now has reservations where last year it couldn't because, it was too dark. So most of them revolve around lighting. Unfortunately, think about the summer months. When it's 105, nobody wants to go out and play at 2 o'clock. They all want to later hours. So most of it revolves around lighting.
That's super helpful because that led to my other question, which was, in your planning, how are you accounting for the 22%? And it sounds like you've identified the major issue, which would be lighting. So.
Correct, yeah. So a lot of our new parks coming online have field lighting. So the southeast park that we're building there will have lights on the soccer fields. Dolores Huerta has has lighting on the open green space. So just to kind of mention a few, but yeah, lighting is kind of a key component to most of our open space designs because it has come at a premium. So, whether it's baseball, football, it needs the lighting just based on our elements.
Yeah, it sounds like if you got the lights installed that you already have planned to be installed, then you think that 22% could go down to like 0, possibly?
Ideally, it'd be great to be able to accommodate everyone's request, right? But I think down the road, that would be the plan. But I think, too, one thing Christy mentioned, the organizations that submitted applications, what was that 96% increase over the last year. So I think, again, just making these fields and our facilities more available and more competitive, because years ago, a lot of these fields were what I'll call monopolized. You had organizations, and no fault to any organization, they had exclusive rights to fields for a full year. And so now we've peeled that back. And to make them more equitable, we go through a 3-month span. And again, we aren't reserving them 7 days a week. We leave them offline Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for a couple reasons, for the fields to rest and hopefully the grass to kind of restore and kind of have a chance to, get back to what it was. And two, allow the neighborhood that surrounds that park to be able to use their facilities as well. So oftentimes, again, sports is a great amenity. I played sports growing up all the way to high school, college, and so forth. It's something that I will always back. But again, some of the neighborhoods felt like they couldn't use their facilities because they were being used by organizations 7 days a week, rightfully so. But again, this allows us to allow the neighbors to utilize their facilities as well.
Yeah, that's also very helpful information. And I guess if there's a recommendation that we should make for more fields or something, I'd like to see if that is something that we should do as a commission to help get these requests down, to accommodate everybody's requests. Obviously would be the ultimate goal. I know you guys are working hard. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Trujillo.
No questions at this time.
I have one more question. When a reservation is made to use a park, how can I frame it? It's the Parks Department going through, making sure that all the amenities are up to par, like the bathrooms are clean, there's soap, there's paper towels. If there is a missing basketball hoop on a court, is that being put up?
Yes, so our facilities are serviced 7 days a week. We have a morning opening crew that comes through, opens the park, services the restrooms, and then we have an afternoon group that comes through and checks to make sure, the restrooms are full of paper products, soap, things of that nature. In addition to that, we have our maintenance team and our area teams that go around, and any missing nets, any damaged volleyball nets, whatever that may be, gets reported. May not, like if it's a volleyball net, we had one damaged the other day. It's not a simple fix where we just repair and put it right back up. That one took a couple days. Basketball nets are usually the same day, but yeah, we do check for those facilities. Our lighting, we make sure that that's available for the guests to use. We will, though, I will tell you, though, if we do have rain or we do have elements that aren't conducive to playing sports, we will cancel reservations for their safety as well as, other park users. So
Yeah, the field is a liability. Another question, how often are we going through the parks, checking the amenities, making sure that they are in fair or excellent condition?
as far as like playing courts and fields and
basketball hoops, volleyball nets, tennis courts, etc.
So we, as I mentioned, the area managers that we have, their team go out on a regular basis. So they're being checked probably weekly for things of like cut fences, they're looking at safety concerns with maybe a tot lot. But the visual stuff that we can see just driving by is typically checked daily by the crews that are opening the parks and the crew that goes back that second afternoon. In addition to that, even park rangers are reporting things to the Parks Department through our 311 service, Fresno, are reporting things through that, as well as the community members. So, we have a lot of different, conduits back to the Parks Department for those type of issues and concerns. Now, if it's something larger than that, unfortunately, we've had to, let's say, shut a field down. We will try through social media, get that message out to the community members that we're aware of this, we're working through it, and it may be a few days longer than you're used to.
So typically you can put up basketball courts in a day, correct?
The net?
The net, yeah, not the court, I'm sorry, the net. Yeah, go ahead and draw a whole court in one day.
Like, for instance, we had Lions Park. We just opened that with the new basketball courts there. Nets were down that morning, and they were back up that afternoon once staff notified their supervisors, and those got put back up.
But can you take a look at Romaine, which is a highly utilized park on the
How about
outside, even though I know they do have the gym, but the outside is also utilized as well?
You're talking about the basketball court?
For the basketball nets.
We actually have in that one, I think one of the guests here mentioned the basketball surfacing. We actually have a project in the queue to get that replaced.
Okay.
So it is breaking apart, and that will be replaced. So that'll be a clean surface for them to play upon. But I will have the basketball checked as well.
I think that park needs, we need to really make sure, all of our parks are good, but that park was the first park to have the skate park that I was a part of bringing to the community, and out of that, we got the BMX park that was built at Mariella Brown. So just making sure that those parks are pretty much up to par, because they're going to be utilized just not for the basketball courts or the toddler lot, but they have skate parks and BMX parks on there as well.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know if you all follow the park's Instagram or Facebook accounts. You'll see that we reseeded, aerated, and fertilized about 29 facilities this past fall. The transformation at Pillabos is amazing. JSK, El Radka Dog Park, Todd Beamer Dog Park. I'm trying to think what other. We've got a number of them in there that all, went from, hearing from the audience here of we're playing on dirt type of deal, going through and aerating, reseeding, fertilizing, and really putting those on a cycle where we can be proud of what we're offering to the community. And again, that's going to continue this spring too with the Bermuda treatment. So that was a fall treatment. This will be a Bermuda treatment. And really now with landscape maintenance being in the Parks Department, it's a little easier to manage that and make those happen more frequently. So we expect some good things with that.
One more question before I know I got questions. It's the new year. I know that there were some talks with the 4 community centers, the West. How is those talks coming along with like the Sunset, those parks?
The 4, so you're referring to Sunset, Maxie, Mariella, and Frank H.
Yes, sir.
So those, those community meetings were held. It really comes down to funding the overall, some of those are pretty high ticket items. I believe the last capital report, we presented those numbers. I don't want to give you numbers that are incorrect, but just to kind of put in context, Sunset with that site being redesigned was upwards of $18 million to really do that the right way. The others have price tags similar, if not higher.
So are they moving forward, or are they just sitting stagnant right now?
So right now, we're looking at various grant opportunities. We're looking at phasing some of those pieces into our capital portfolio. So we're looking at creative ways to get some of those amenities built and out there for the, but in Sunset's case, I think that one was a complete demo and rebuild. And that one a year ago was $18+ million to redo.
Okay, thank you. Vice Chair Ward.
Yeah, Director Gary, since you were just speaking about I think it was the park facility kind of repairs and maintenance aspect, since we heard earlier this evening from the gentleman who were talking about the Melody Park skate ramp rail that broke and then was missing altogether, is that something where, is it considered a repair and that rail will be replaced, or is that not on the same kind of schedule as basketball hoop nets and volleyball nets and things like that?
I actually pulled the work order data before coming over here today. So I can tell you, since we met last year, repairs started back in March of 2025. And another repair of about $7,600 was just made in November of 2025 to those ramps. So all in all, I believe its total cost was about $11,000 we put into the skate facility there in the last year. Just damage to the skate ramps, the surfacing. I'm not a skateboarder, probably going to get chastised for not knowing the technical terms, but the speaker wasn't wrong. They are modular. They're not concrete. They're not as hardy as those features. We did go and put the railing in, and I know we did have to remove that, and they are looking at replacing that, but we have not let that one go. Like I said, we've spent almost $11,000 the last year repairing various items out there.
And why are they modular, as you put it, instead of concrete, to where it'll last longer?
I think that came down to funding. We have a couple of those. We have the one out at Melody, we have the one out at Cary Park, and we also have the one out at Kaiser. Those are all modular features that we have to go in, and I think it was pitched at the time, and I wasn't in the Parks Department, as I guess, I don't know if I want to call them obstacles or device that you could move, and you could kind of change the look and feel of the park, so it wasn't the same park each and every time you went out to experience it. But I don't believe that's been the case there. So we are looking at other solutions to kind of harden up the surfacing where it still is rideable for the users. But yeah, we have not neglected those. We are repairing those. We are getting those repaired in a timely manner.
Because you would think, I recall, I think you said November of last year?
2025.
Yeah, and now we're in January of 2026, and they need repairing again?
I will find out what additional repairs, but I'm just telling you right now, since last March, we've spent about $11,000 on repairs. So installed lighting, repaired the fence, removed an old skate rail, installed 2 new ones, moved some benches. October, we removed that skate rail that was not installed by the city staff, is what my notes show here, and then just recently removed and replaced damaged deck panels. Deck panels are the technical term, not the boards going up. So like I said, that all comes out to $10,800 is what we've done the last year out there. Just Melody alone, not counting the other facilities I mentioned.
Okay, just thinking that we might want to spend more for good quality, so we don't have to keep repairing, since it is a highly utilized park, and look into some better materials, or
yeah, I mean,
however it may be. I'm not that familiar with all that term. I'm sorry if I'm butchering up, but I'm just saying, to avoid, to keep spending. My grandmother always said that you spend for what you want so it can last longer.
Right.
So if we spend and make the investment, we won't have to keep going back out and repairing 2 or 3 months.
Right, and I don't think that repair was the same repair that was previously done. I think the boards or the deck ramps or panels have gotten weaker. So in some areas, it's just we're kind of chasing it. So those are things that we're aware of and making repairs to. And who knows, there may be new technology that is something that is more durable than the old systems out there.
Okay, and maybe having conversation, like doing community meetings with the skaters and BMXers is very helpful from my experience when we built out. We learned the new lingo, new terminology. We learned what worked, what didn't work. and what was needed and what was not needed, and it made our research easier to be able to decide what was best.
Yeah, and I know our staff out there has worked with the group here, so I know we do have the contact information, and we'll circle back with them.
Thank you. Any other questions on this item? Commissioner Barraza?
Yes, Madam Chair. As you know, the Southeast Fresno Regional Park is scheduled to be finished at around this summer. I don't know, maybe August 2026. That obviously is going to bring more soccer fields to be available. I'm a little bit concerned to what happens to the to the Hispanic Soccer League, since they've gotten a what do they call them, an indefinite termination of their access to park facilities. For one thing, I would like to have further discussion, maybe not so much to the specifics of their case, because obviously there are some confidential matters that probably cannot be discussed in public. But I think in terms of improving the overall process of renting facilities, I feel that that's something that should be discussed as a hearing, to have the opportunity to make recommendations on how to improve things. There's some items that I feel should be improved. And then the other part is, I mentioned the appeal process that the Hispanic Soccer League has not used. They have the right to appeal to the city manager, and I don't know if they have been notified that they have that opportunity. Do you know? Have they been notified?
We worked with legal counsel, and feel free to jump in here, City Attorney, but we followed the policy as drafted with the administration and City Attorney. So did check on that request that you had, Commissioner Barraza, but I'll turn it over to City Attorney if there's anything to add to that.
Sorry. Are you asking whether they have the ability to appeal to the CMO? Is that the question?
Well, that's very clear. I read the municipal code, and it says that they have the option to appeal.
So I believe the policy, the way it was approved was that, or written, it was that the director has the final say, and I don't believe it allows for, does not allow it to go beyond the director's decision. But correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that's what's in the policy.
Okay, I respectfully disagree with that, because I read the same policy, and what I hope that doesn't happen, that this moves up to a court process when it gets more complicated for everybody. But anyway, I kind of was hoping to continue a discussion about the policies and procedures, because I feel I'm very concerned that soccer is not getting the attention it deserves. And in fact, it's being set back with the way the policies that are being applied. I think we need a better dialogue with the soccer community, with the teams, with the various organizations that are also entitled to use the facilities that are funded with Measure P. And so there, you pointed out, City Attorney, that you have stated that you don't think that they're entitled to appeal to the city manager. Have you read the municipal code that pertains to this?
Yes, I have read the municipal code, but under the policy for the reservation, the way it's currently written is that the director has the final say in regards to any appeals decisions under the policy. And so, I mean, unless, at this time, if there's any concerns, I mean, they could always reach out, I guess, to the CMO or to council, but per the policy, the director has that authority, or makes that final decision, sorry.
Okay, and the option of moving it up to the city council obviously is always there, so I understand. I was hoping, if there's interest on the part of this commission, to continue this matter and have a further discussion, and perhaps come in with recommendations on on areas of the policy of leasing facilities that could be improved, as if we're able to schedule this matter as a hearing for a future commission meeting.
City Attorney, is that within the guidelines of the commission?
It is not. It is actually outside the realm of what the Measure P provides. However, that is something I can put together a memo and update the council or the commission.
And I think our intent, as Christy mentioned, is to meet with all the groups, not one in particular, but all of our reservation groups, and see what's working with this policy, what isn't working with this policy. So I think that's slated to happen in the next 30 days to have, I think, what you're kind of leaning towards, but again, to hear from all groups, not just in one in particular, because to be honest with you, other groups have gotten written reprimands and other notices, not just soccer. So it's been, other groups have gotten the same thing. So we want to hear from those folks as well, what's working, what's not working for you.
I think that would address what I'm trying to address, that we have a dialogue with the community and really all sports, not necessarily only soccer, because I've heard of problems with baseball and softball where they've had fights. So public safety is important to all of us in all areas. I think that would be a good start if there is a meeting with the community that our director indicates will take place, where all folks are invited. It's an open meeting for everybody. And then from there, we'll see what happens next, depending on how the community feels, whether in fact our city is addressing the issues that the community is bringing up. And if not, well, then there may be other steps that could take place. And the community always has the option of going higher in the scheme of things. I feel comfortable that if we have within a month's time a community meeting where everybody's invited and discuss the policies and allow the community to express any further concerns, and hopefully reason will prevail and there'll be improvements to the policy, which hopefully that should be the outcome.
Thank you. Any other questions in regards to this presentation? Thank you.
Thank you.
We will now move on to hearings. ID number 26-89, hearing, receive public input on expanding access to arts and culture grant program.
We skipped over the discussion.
Oh, I skipped another one. See, I'm ready. I'm like, I thought we talked about this already. Discussion items. We will now move on to discussion items. ID number 26-123, discussion 2026 expanded access to arts and culture subcommittee meeting schedule. I would like to begin the discussion regarding the 2026 expanded access to arts and culture subcommittee meeting schedule. Does any member of the commission have any comments or questions regarding this item? Vice Chair Ward.
Yeah, I guess I was surprised to see this on the agenda because the subcommittee has not yet been appointed. But I guess maybe this is an opportunity for the commission to hear an update on what is happening with potentially having that subcommittee have meetings this year.
Yeah, I think for me, I wrote some things down that from the last round that we had and the outcry from the public to have those meetings made public, I propose an ad hoc subcommittee with self-imposed open meeting requirements, have it continue to start and stop at the end of each annual year, and that way I can appoint, or the chair can appoint new members if we like each year. And I think because if we have it put on as an item on our meetings, we only meet every third Monday, and I don't think that would serve the public correctly. So that's just one of the recommendations that I have. I don't know how anyone else feels about it.
Yeah, I think an ad hoc meeting is needed. I think we were back and forth on if we could have it be like not ad hoc because of the funding and the availability and all that. So if that's still a no-go, then ad hoc should be in place, I would say.
And I do recall the last meeting of the subcommittee after the grants awards have went out, that meeting was made public. And the notices did go out, and I was able to watch that on Zoom. So, for people who cannot come in person, at least they'll be able to still follow along, right? And still be able to provide comments.
That might be one of the things we have to work through. I think that the city's contract with CMAC to be able to broadcast its various boards and commissions goes into place far in advance of the fiscal year starting, and so it can be difficult for the city to expand or add. There are certainly a lot of committees and commissions for the city that are not able to be a part of the CMAC contract. This is a subcommittee that has a much larger or increased public interest than some of the other things, and I think that that's something that we will want to look into to see if there's a way that people can participate remotely or watch it, a recording or something, since it is not a part of the CMAC contract. And then I think another thing we would have to look at is kind of meeting location and timing. It's kind of part of the same question, but that one subcommittee meeting that we did have that was ultimately at the kind of the last minute able to be seen on Zoom. It was during the day, and we got a lot of comments from people about how they had to leave work early or miss work to attend the meeting. But part of that was by having it when the city hall was open, then it didn't require additional time for the security guards to stay late. So maybe there are ways that the subcommittee, if it meets at City Hall, that it could overlap at times so that there are already other meetings here, and that it wouldn't be like a new ask that is, again, outside the budget for the City Hall security guards to stay after hours.
So, Chair, if you don't mind, kind of on the lines as Vice Chair Ward, having that meeting held within the PrAC meeting would be an option. So we would have our PrAC meeting, and within the PrAC meeting we would have, and excuse me, City Clerk's going to help me with this, I might stumble on this. So within that meeting we would have an item that would be a hearing item, or would it be a hearing item? So it'd be a hearing item for the subcommittee to meet within the PrAC meeting. So we would have our regular PrAC business, and that would move into a subcommittee meeting that would then be on the agenda, would be open to the public, and would be available through the Zoom options.
It would essentially be a joint meeting. So it could also be a discussion. So if no action was taken, it would be a discussion, but it would be on your agenda. And then in bold, it would have a header that says joint meeting with the subcommittee. And then you can do that.
My fear, I've thought about this over the break. My fear is that we only meet every third Monday of the month. So that means that the subcommittee will only meet every third Monday of the month. Those meetings will only be public when we have stuff that's getting ready to come up that requires more than them meeting once a month. So we will still have to have them come in here regardless and have a meeting if we propose to have it a standing committee versus if we had it an ad hoc committee, they can meet as many times as they need to be able to do what they need to do to make this a fair and equitable process. This is the third year of this. We should be able to get it right this year. My hope, my praise, and that we should be able to satisfy members of the public, especially because we heard a lot of outcry for these past 2 years, and being able to participate in more of these meetings and being able to have more of a say and just being able to review the process. So I'm looking at an ad hoc committee versus a standing committee, and that's what I'm proposing. And how often?
Yeah, I just want to say we need to meet a lot more than once a month, and the fact that we haven't had a subcommittee for more than 100 days is very problematic because depending on what is being updated, a lot of the things need to go to the commission for recommendation and then go to city council for review and consideration and adoption. And that all adds a lot of time on the back end once there has been the chance to have the public input and make proposed revisions. So again, kind of the comments I made earlier in the meeting during the member report section is for the operational grants to be closely aligned with the July 1st start of the fiscal year for these organizations. We need to get going on those particularly. And then I do think it's the project grants that need a lot more significant revision, especially I noticed during the listening sessions, there's a real disconnect right now between the cultural arts plan and the applicants even understanding what the connection is for that to then the projects that are supposed to be carrying out the goals of the cultural arts plan. And we could have those projects run on the 12-month award cycle from when they're funded. So that doesn't need to have the same kind of artificial restriction of the timeline that we've been working on in the first 2 years. I think part of the problems that have arisen in year 1 and year 2 is that we have been in a pretty big rush to try to get things out just so it can get started because the RFPs by contract have to be available for a minimum of 60 days. And so it all just adds up to an enormous amount of time. And if we were to have the subcommittee start its first meeting on February 23rd, I think, that is definitely not going to be enough time to get any sort of grants out by July 1st.
Madam Chair.
So again, we will be behind again in year 3. So, like, we have to make a decision here. Commissioner Barraza?
Madam Chair, I understood that the status of the subcommittee had already been decided.
That was
and
the,
that our city attorney had advised us that it was possible for that to be a permanent committee. And if that's the case, then the rules that have to be followed under a permanent committee is having the compliance with, I guess, the MEDI Act and all those kinds of things. I was feeling already comfortable to go that route, and I think now we're suggesting the possibility or making it an ad hoc like they used to be. I mean, is that the way we all agree, or is it just a
and that's
suggestion?
why we're having this discussion right now.
Okay.
And once the Arts Cultural Plan Subcommittee's work was finished, they were disbanded like any other subcommittee. So now we have to put them back together regardless if it's going to be new members or the same 3 members that were on the previous subcommittee. We still have to announce that and get it, and then get a resolution for that as well. That's the protocol. So until we decide how we're going to have these meetings public, we won't have a subcommittee. So that's why we have this discussion item going on now. My fear is that we're not going to get a subcommittee put together until February 23rd, like Vice Chair said, and then we're going to be behind, and then there's going to be another rush. And then because of us being behind and because of us being another rush and rushing through the process, when the announcement of the grantees come out, we're going to be flooded again because we missed the mark. This is year 3, though.
Didn't we pass already a resolution to create a subcommittee that would be a permanent committee?
I don't believe so. Can you
It has
correct
not
me?
happened?
No, you have not passed a resolution that establishes a standing committee.
Okay.
I have a question. Is the option for having the sub-meeting within a PrAC meeting have to be completely separate from ad hoc, or can some of the ad hoc meetings have that
It has
provision?
to be one or the other, if I'm not mistaken, but I'll refer to city attorney.
So you can have an ad hoc, and you can open it up for public to attend those meetings if that's what the commission would like. But a standing committee, you are required to be subject to the Brown Act, and so they will have to be open meetings. But an ad hoc, if the commission wants to open it up to the public, they can do so under, with even an ad hoc.
Well, can I make a suggestion that we do the ad hoc with an option to add an ad hoc to one of these meetings if needed to have more public participation? I don't know if that's an option. If it is, I'd like to suggest that.
You can respond.
I think what you're saying is to have it as an ad hoc committee that does make the effort to try to have the open meetings, like the last ad hoc subcommittee did do. I think that was great. And then I think what you were saying, though, is that for the months where it aligns or makes sense, that we could also have some of the subcommittee meetings occur during a PrAC meeting or at the end of a PrAC meeting or something. My concern is it is almost 8 o'clock at night. Some of these meetings run extremely late. And if all of our meetings were at 8 p.m. on a Monday night, I think there would be just as much concern and upset, about people not being able to meaningfully participate because of when the meetings are occurring. But I don't think that it would be a problem to have some of the ad hoc subcommittee meetings, during the PrAC commission meetings, if there was time available and it was a time that they did need to meet. And one of the things about this subcommittee is it does a bunch of work before things are recommended to the commission, and then it kind of goes quiet. So then there's no need to meet, and then it resumes work, a kind of a later part in the cycle. So it comes and goes, kind of throughout the year on kind of a rolling basis. But I do think that having it, having some of those ad hoc meetings attached to the PrAC commission would definitely be within the CMAC contract. And then we can, I guess, figure out what we can do to try to make other meetings as open and accessible as we can.
I think that would be kind of confusing to the public, though. So I believe either we're going to do a standing subcommittee or an ad hoc subcommittee, because if we have two separate ones, it's going to be confusing, because it sounds confusing to me right now. I think it's better for us to have an ad hoc subcommittee. I don't think it's beneficial for us to put it on our agenda because we only meet every third Monday of the month. And we're just now getting to this discussion item, as you pointed out, and it's 7:52. So if people are waiting to hear that subcommittee, they might not be able to hear it until 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and by then people are going to leave. So I prefer for the subcommittee to have their own separate meeting from the Parks Commission. That's my recommendation.
I agree, whatever form, whatever timing works. I think it needs to be a subcommittee that's open and accessible. And the ad hoc will allow for the increased meeting frequency, and I think that's required.
And I agree. Any other comments from any other commissioners? No?
Just a question, I guess, on my end, so I'm understanding. During that process, heard from the community about transparent and not having access to it. How does the ad hoc handle that? How do we, I guess, relieve their concerns that they have the ability to hear and know what's going on? I think I heard that loud and clear, that they didn't get that opportunity.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, again, there's no subcommittee that exists right now. So that was, I think that's one of the reasons why this item was a little bit of a surprise on the agenda. But I think there would be different ways we could try to increase accessibility. Like if the meeting is going to be at City Hall, to have it maybe during the lunch hour when the alternative meeting room is open, or something like that, where people might have a window of time that they could attend. And then that's what I'm saying, or maybe have the meetings at times that if it's after hours, on days that other commissions meet after hours, so that way it's not an additional ask on those resources. But I think we need to look into what can be done as far as other methods of virtual attendance, if it has to be run through the city, or if there's other ways that it can be made available through video or other devices.
Can you please come up, Dr. Chavez?
Chair McCoy, members of the commission, Lilia Gonzalez Chavez, Executive Director of the Arts Council. Chair McCoy has made an excellent suggestion, and Member Ward also has contributed to something that is very workable, maintaining the subcommittee as ad hoc at this point, because we need to meet more frequently than just once a month to get at least the general operating support grants out in a timely way so that people can receive funds within their fiscal year so that they can start their fiscal year July 1. That's important. So it's going to require the subcommittee to meet multiple times very quickly to make those decisions, to be able to bring to you a recommendation at your February meeting that you can possibly adopt or, if need be, carry over to your next month's meeting. But at least you have potential to get something decided in February. The idea that a meeting, if it's ad hoc, be made open to the public is very doable. We've done that before, and all we have to do is provide the announcement. And we can even if it's not CMAC, we can even make the meeting on Zoom and send out Zoom links so people can participate. So it is possible. It's just to announce it and make it accessible and make it in a space that's large enough to manage those that attend. And actually, in the Arts Council's new meeting room gallery, we have plenty of room for the people that want to attend. So I would be in agreement with the recommendation coming from Chair McCoy and Member Ward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Make a motion.
Can we make motions under discussion items?
I think you could just let us know how you want to move forward with the subcommittee, whether you want standing or
Ad hoc.
ad hoc.
And can I appoint the members now, or do I have to wait?
No, we need a resolution in order to move forward with that.
Just trying to knock it all out. Okay.
But don't you need some direction as to how to prepare the resolution?
Huh?
Don't you need some direction as to what the form of the resolution?
Well, they have to prepare it and bring it to us, and then we'll be able to read it correctly like last time.
So is it going to be both ways,
That is-
standing committee and the next?
No, it's going to be ad hoc, not a standing committee.
Okay. You have a consensus already?
I don't think we have to vote on
Okay with
it.
that. I'm okay with that. So if we could.
Yeah, I think we made it pretty clear. I think I just wanted to bring it back to have a discussion item because there were two different recommendations that were made, and just wanted to hear the difference of the recommendations to be able to make the decision and just to be transparent for the public.
Yes, I support that.
Thank you. That's all you needed?
That's all I need.
All right, we can move on. Now we can move on to hearings at 7:57. Hearing number ID 26-89, hearing to receive public input on expanded access to arts and culture grant program. Would any member of the public like to make a comment regarding this item? You will have up to 3 minutes, and I do have a card here from Isaac Aries.
Yeah, hello.
Hi.
Hi.
This is about the skate parks, and I think like there's just like low maintenance on skate parks, and I feel like you guys could like keep up with it more.
Hold on
Yeah,
one second.
sorry. No, that it should be
This will go on the
the
next
next
item.
one. Yes.
So the next one that I called, I'll bring you back up so you can speak.
Okay.
Because this one is for the arts. You can might as well sit right there because I'm going to bring you right back up. Thank you. So does any member of the public have any input on the expanded access to arts and culture grants program? Do we have anyone online, Mary?
No, we don't.
Okay, I will now close public comment. Does any member of the commission have any questions or comments regarding this item? We will now move on. ID number 26-91, hearing to receive public input on allocations related to Measure P, updates to the Parks Master Plan and Cultural Arts Plan, and annual Parks Department budget and capital improvement plans. Would any member of the public like to make a comment regarding this item? You have up to 3 minutes for comment, and I bring you back up Isaac Aries.
Yeah, so what I was saying is like the parks are like really low maintenance and not like too bad, but it's just like I feel like the city could keep up with it a little more. And like there's like a lot of cracks in a lot of parks, like Lions, Remains, for example. Probably some other ones too that I can't really think of, but I feel like it could be a really easy fix for the city. I don't know. That's why I think it's like low maintenance. Because there's like you could use Bondo to like cover the cracks, and yeah, like I don't know. That's pretty much all I could think about right now. Oh, and the lights too. I feel like a lot of the skate park lights, like a lot of them don't work, and I feel like a lot of them need a lot of lights. And felt yeah, I don't know. That's it, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do we have any other member, any more cards? No. Do we have anyone online?
No, we do not.
Okay, I will now close public comment. Does any member of the commission have any questions or comments regarding this item?
Madam Chair, yes, I do. Actually, my question is for William. So the rail in particular, would a metal rail serve a better purpose as opposed to the concrete for axle grinding in particular?
Yeah, so we had a rail in there already.
Come up, please. Come up.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we had a rail in there already. It got dented. So I ended up doing like an Instagram post being like, this park has been over like 15, 20 years, somewhere around there, and it's been there for a long time. It did have some hole in the ramps. They did manage to like maintenance the ramps. So that did help all the prefabricated ramps that were at the park. But when I talked with Ozzy at that time, we were just running some ideas. We wanted to try to get the park redone. They're like, that's not in budget right now. So it felt like we just kept going down the list of like what we could do. They did add lights as well on one side of the park that helped a lot. But as far as the rail goes, we just never got another one after that happened. I think they put in some like Amazon rails that were like, they broke it like almost instantly. And it wasn't probably meant to be insulting, but it's kind of like we were looking for the rail there was really nice beforehand. So we just wanted a replacement version of that rail. And I even sent over to Ozzy now where to find the rail to get it ordered for that situation, but I just never heard anything back. But just for that park alone, we lost an obstacle when we were trying to make it better. So I did send over the information to find the perfect rail for that park. But like I said, if you guys want to reach out for any more information, I'd be more than willing to help.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now a time to make recommendations for the budget? No.
No, right? Or yes, I don't know.
No, because it's not on the.
It's not on the agenda,
Yeah, it's
correct?
specific.
Well,
just write it down and hold it.
Right, maybe for the next meeting or,
You do it in May?
okay,
Okay.
all right. And then maybe we could work with Parks to help figure this out to make a solid recommendation that will be received well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other commissioners have any other questions regarding this item? All right. That clock on the wall said it is 8:05. And like I do at all our meetings, I like to adjourn this meeting in the memory of Dr. Francine Apuda, who's greatly missed. Thank you all for coming out and putting up with us. And enjoy the rest of your evening, and we will see you next month. Thank you.